Hey dudes and chicks, and neither of those rules don't apply to you. Welcome to Fake It for Last Time. My name is Katie. Today, I'm going to be doing a collab video, as the title rightly said, with Erica Conger and Stephanie from notyourbasicsteph. And they both have makeup YouTube channels as well. I'm very good friends with them both. We talk all the time. I have actually done a collab, a Christmas collab with Stephanie in the past, and this will be my first collab with Erica. I love both of these guys so much. I really don't know what to say about either one of them. They're both fucking fabulous. Erica does all these fantastic looks, and honestly, I think that me and Stephanie have more of a similar not necessarily taste in music, and taste in makeup brands, but Erica often has brands that I don't have. And honestly, like, I watch her collection videos and I watch like all of her like tutorials and just her different videos. Like, she literally has everything that I don't. So if you're looking for like kind of a well-rounded group of gals to watch videos and get like the gist of like a vast variety of products, notyourbasicsteph and Erica Conger both together, like as a collaboration. The two, if you watch their two channels, you would get a very wide variety of experience and knowledge on a variety of different prices and qualities and brands and countries. Stephanie's from the UK. I'm fairly sure she lives in England, and Erica lives in Portland. I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to visit them both in person someday. So we decided that because we all had Watch the Queen Conquer palette, that we would do a collab with Watch the Queen Conquer. And so I haven't been able to use it that much. The color story is fucking out of this world. You guys know. P. Louise. Please. Please, P. Louise. So we decided to do a collab where we would do a look inspired by our favorite Queen album cover. And so, in the spirit of being queens and loving Queen, and P. Louise is a queen and using the Queen palette, I decided that we should call this the collaboration of queens. And so, my favorite Queen album cover is not necessarily my favorite Queen album. Maybe it is, though. The album is called News of the World, and so it honestly was not my favorite color story, but I could not do this album cover because it's always been, since it's been like a childhood favorite. Like, I have an impression of this album cover in my mind as a child. Like, it made such an impact on me artistically and musically. I will be using News of the World, and you guys, I will leave the links in the description box below to Erica and Stephanie's videos so that you can see what their favorite album covers are and hear what they have to say on whatever they're going to talk about. I try not to set too many fucking parameters when I do collabs. Like, I don't like rules, right? So I don't know what they're going to talk about, but I know what I'm going to talk about. And so if I don't finish this intro, then you'll never fucking hear it. So without further ado, okay, I'm going to start with the color In Control with my Made by Mitchell ME1, because it just seems like the way to go. So the reason why I chose this album cover is because when I was a child, so my mom was never like, you know, a lot of my friends' parents, they were into like old school, like that old time rock and roll type shit. Like, they were like into like fucking the Eagles and like Ted Nugent and like, I don't even know who. I don't even know what those bands are. Like, I honestly don't even know what bands that like other people's parents would listen to when I would go over there, because I didn't know who they were. My mom was like into like Pat Benatar, Blondie. She liked ABBA, which was whatever. I never was into ABBA, but she like listened to Olivia Newton-John and like, but a lot of like April Wine and Queen. And so my youngest memories, I don't have that many memories with my mom when I was super young, because I lived with my grandma and my auntie at my grandma's house. Dude, look at this color. It's just fucking getting better and better. I lived with my auntie and my grandma, and so the youngest memories I have with my mom, well, was her getting mad at me for eating the marshmallows out of the Lucky Charms, hiding behind the couch. But who didn't do that? I was destined for trouble. Okay, so when I was a kid, I used to dream about being a rock star, and like I would sing Joan Jett into the vacuum cleaner handle. That looks so good. This look is pretty much just gonna do itself because it's really not, the colors are like not that challenging. So yeah, hooray! I'm gonna use my Zoeva 227, and I'm gonna go into the color Kingslayer. I used to sing into the vacuum cleaner handle, and I used to sing Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll into the vacuum cleaner handle, and I used to sing Queen into the vacuum cleaner handle. My mom owned News of the World, and I would literally sit and just, I was so taken with that album cover. It was so creepy, and the, I don't know, just the way it looked so tragic. And also, like, I noticed as a child, at a very young age, that the robot looked like sad. Like he wasn't doing it on purpose. Like he was just really stupid. And so I could tell that, like all that, when I was really young. So essentially that is what's going on in this story. So I Googled what the story was about. The terrifying art for Queen's sixth album, 1977's News of the World, was an adaptation of a painting by a science fiction illustrator, Frank Kelly Freas, or Freeze. It's spelled with an A. Originally designed for an October 1953 issue of the comic book Astounding, it features the robot holding the dead body of a man and captioned, "Please fix it, Daddy." To illustrate the story, The Gulf Between by Tom Godwin. The robot killing the man was likened to a child injuring a bug and looking up at his parents saying, "What have I done?" I really resonated with that when I was a kid. I really could tell that he didn't mean it, like in this picture, that he was like, he didn't mean it. I just couldn't get enough of that album cover. And so, I mean, honestly, color-wise, there was fucking way cooler albums. Like, Queen has made so many good albums, and honestly, like, they're Queen. They're fucking killer, right? Killer Queen, right? But I had to do this album cover because it's so meaningful to me. And so I guess the other things that I wanted to talk about was, you know, that's like the story about me. So when I got a little bit older, I used to listen to this band called, because I didn't know that Queen was cool like then. I just like listened to what my mom had kicking around, right? I'm going to go into the color Tactical. Was my Made by Mitchell ME2. Man, these colors are so fucking bomb. Good Lord. So, I didn't know that Queen was cool, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what cool was back then. Like, we all just listen to what our parents listen to, you know what I mean? We think that what our parents like is what is actually cool until a certain age, right? Like, that's where we get that struggle for autonomy, where we, like, realize we don't want to be like our parents, we want to be our own people. And often, even for the most well-adjusted kids, that means going toward the exact opposite of what your parents are into. Just because that's like what we have to do to get free from our parents. Like, we'll never be free of them if we don't like figure out how to get away, break the umbilical cord, right? So anyway, as I got older, I used to listen to, when the grunge scene came out, I used to listen to, okay, April, I have a girl ask me about getting hard lines out, and I was just doing it. I'm going to actually back this out a little bit so that you guys I can be more in frame. So here it is. I was just doing it. I was being like super tense and like thinking more about talking, and I was like tense, right? And so I just kick out my pinky finger. I hold my pinky finger out and I take a deep breath in and out. And I go, girl, kick that pinky finger out. And then I just barely touch. I'm like barely touching it. I can barely feel that. I can barely feel the bristles touching me at all. And look at how good. It's just blending like so good. Like going right up in there. I hope that was helpful. I talk a lot about this like at intervals. It's just never at an organized time. So I promised my girl April, I'm pretty sure her name is April. If I got your name wrong, I'm so sorry, but you know who you are. That I would like try to give a little demonstration. A lot of you guys who have been here for a while already know my little pointer for that. Okay, I love the way that looks. I'm not going to go any further. This is not a darkly shadowed, it's not. It's like a sage green, which isn't, they didn't really have the right green in this palette, but I feel like what I chose was good enough for the guys I date. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go along the lower lash line and I'm going to really, I'm going to use the Rephr number 2 and I'm going to use Tactical on the lower lash line. That looks nice. So anyways, when I got older into the 90s grunge scene, which was everything to me, like I've always been a metalhead, like always. But like when the grunge scene came in, like it was, I mean, I was pretty punk rock. I was pretty into grunge. I was really into metal, like anything heavy. And I used to listen to this band called Mother Love Bone. So Mother Love Bone was really, like, I wouldn't say derivative, but Andy Wood was the lead singer of Mother Love Bone, and he was very much influenced by Queen. And so Mother Love was a song written by Queen, and the name is Mother Love Bone, and I'm pretty sure that there was a song about Freddie Mercury, but I'm not positive. You know what? I'm gonna do something different on the, I'm gonna use my Zoeva 220 something. I don't remember. This is the one that has the numbers rubbed off. And I'm gonna use Conquest. It's a little bright, but let's just fuck it. Let's just use the whole thing. I was actually gonna use this in the look, but I skipped it. So let's just use it a little tiny baby bit. I'm just putting it on the corner. I'm not really blowing this out because it might, I don't want it to be too bright. I just want to point out, I'm positive it's April. Look at how good this blend is. I literally just went like this. And this brush right here, the Made by Mitchell ME2, it picks up products so well that you actually have to be careful that you don't like over fucking do it. Look, I just literally like wipe that. So good. Now for my next trick. I'm gonna go into my turn and blood. God, it's too much even. Sorry, I don't want to go crazy with this. Fucking going fuck everything up. Yeah, I love it. I don't like that bright green that I used underneath there. I'm glad I only did it a little bit because now I want to take it back. I'm going to go in with, in Control, the less brighter green that's more like mustardy and like use that too. And then into Kingslayer, the lightest light. The lightest of lighties. So anyways, I loved Mother Love Bone and everybody referred to him as a Freddie Mercury. And so I kind of revisited that love as a teenager because I loved Mother Love Bone, dude. And Andy Wood died of a heroin overdose when he was 24. And so honestly, Andy Wood was already dead by the time I found the band. So, yeah, sad. And quite frankly, it's all sad. Because now I'm going to start talking about Bohemian Rhapsody and how fucking outrageous and amazing of a person, you know, Freddie Mercury was. Just so amazing. And like many drug addicts, The disease of addiction manifests itself in a variety of ways, and it could be with people, it could be with drugs, alcohol. I don't know. It's tricky. I'm going to use my NYX glitter primer, and I'm going to glue it all over my liddy poo. And then I'm going to use my Zoeva 234, and I'm going to go into Gambit. Because this is going to fucking do it right here. Saying. Oh yeah, that's money right there. Honestly, I was just listening to the album News of the World before I started filming this video, and almost started crying just because of the tragedy. You know, and the end when Freddie Mercury played Live Aid. Well, I don't know how old a lot of you guys are, but I remember Live Aid. And I was alive, and I watched that shit on MTV. So, like, you know, MTV used to be something badass, and I don't know, dude. It just feels like, I feel like I was part of a special time to get to be alive when MTV, like, debuted and shit. And if the world didn't agree, Stranger Things wouldn't be the top fucking show on TV right now. Damn, that looks pretty. And so, you know, at the time, like, I didn't know that was like, you know, it's like we miss these opportunities when we really, like, take things for granted and we don't know how, like, much of an impact or how big of a deal that is until it's, like, too late. In the moment, it's just like a thing, you know, you're just like after school special, you know what I mean? And like over time, it's like one of the greatest moments in musical history. Crazy. So anyways, it was not difficult. Like, I literally was like so stoked to do a video and talk about Queen because, well, for obvious reasons. Yeah, that's fucking badass. I didn't think I was gonna be able to pull off a look. I told those guys, I was like, dude, my color story is shit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. They were like, you're gonna be able to do it, fool. As it would appear, I did pull it off indeed. I mean, honestly, it's not perfect. These are not the exact colors. And the other thing is, dude, my memory fit does not serve me correctly because I don't remember. And honestly, like online, when you look up this album cover, it's in a variety of different edits. There's all these different edits. And like some of them are like teal green. Some of them are really sage green and look more brown. And I don't know what the actual original album cover is. You see that hard line right there? There's a hard line, and I'm just easing up on my pinky. And I'm gonna move my mirror over a little bit so you guys can see. And I'm just as lightly as I can feathering out. Because feathering is what pulls out harsh lines, not grinding. Grinding does not pull out harsh lines. The lightest, faintest touch pulls out a hard line. Perfection. And it's from a light touch. Now, I'm going to use this P. Louise Worldy number 198, and I'm going to go into the color Victory. And I'm going to use that as my inner corner highlight, and it's going to look fucking pretty. And this is actually probably the closest thing to a real color that's in that painting as any other color that I've used. This is probably the closest thing to the color that is actually in that painting. But also, this is also a really magical, beautiful color that spreads really well. So that really just pulls it all together. I'm gonna use that for my brow bone highlight with the Spectrum A16. Okay, I'm gonna go finish the rest of my face and I'll be back when I'm done. So, this is the manifesto, the pièce de résistance. I use my Rouge and Rogue eye wigs in Slayer, and they're actually brand new. I used my Unearthly Cosmetics Lippy in Mandy, my ColourPop in Venus on the waterline, and my Arthurine blush palette in Goji. That's the yellowy one right there for my blush. And then for my highlighter, I use the Alien Low Light palette in Extraterrestrial, the Midzy Green. Fuck, I love this highlighter palette. It's the best. So I actually went back and Googled Mother Love Bone because I just wanted to make sure that like what I was saying to you was accurate. And according to the article that I actually like clicked into instead of just reading like the you know introductory page that's on the Google page or whatever, said that if Mother Love Bone wouldn't have formed, that Mother Love Bone actually became a band before the grunge scene came in on the scene. And so if it wouldn't have been for Mother Love Bone forming that band, the grunge scene might not have even happened, which, I mean, who could speculate what might not have even happened? Like, that's not even a thing, but like just saying that band, Mother Love Bone, who was so heavily influenced by Queen, was actually like the precursor to the grunge scene in Seattle. So anyways, Stephanie, Erica, thank you so much for doing this collab with me. I love you guys so much. I love your work. I love your personalities. I'm so glad to be able to call you guys friends. And I was just super jealous. So I needed to do a collab with you guys because I love you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell because you can't wait to see what happens next. Hit the like button if you like this look, or if you just like my sparkling personality and my boyish charm, and hang out with me in the comments because I fucking love it. If you got like halfway through this video and you were like, oh my god, that girl's so pretty till she opens her big fucking mouth, then go check me out on Instagram. I don't talk as much on Instagram. And if you were like, don't sugarcoat it, Katie, why don't you tell us how you really feel, then go check out my Patreon because I don't hold anything back on Patreon. And I go live at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time most Sundays on my Patreon. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. You could have been anywhere, but you were here wasting your time with me, and I totally appreciate you. Later. Slayer.